production director and actor Ken Kitticle. We have our cinematographer Sean Mayor. And we have our producer Michael Velasquez. Michael's like a little after. We have the step and repeat for photos. So I guess maybe as a quick nutshell, we'll just kind of go down the line very briefly and shortly, introduce about ourselves and how we got involved with film, and then we'll open up for questions. Hopefully, we have some time. So basically, this has been 10 years in the making. You know, for me, I wrote the script. I started writing the script about 10 years ago. Kind of wanted to make it as a tribute and a love letter to Asian American Kung Fu, specifically, because we haven't seen an Asian American Kung Fu movie. We've seen a lot of movies from Hong Kong and China that are Kung Fu, but not really set in America. And also kind of a love letter to Chinatowns, but even more broadly, our teachers and mentors, and anyone who's really kind of set us on the way. So hopefully people who may not associate with Kung Fu or martial arts specifically can understand the story or relate to it, of the idea of relationships of a teacher or a teacher figure in our lives. And I hope that's kind of something that can give people something to relate to. So we had a lot of interest about the film, and maybe Alan can kind of jump into that as well. He'll talk about that. We had a lot of interest in the film, but they wanted to change the cast to be white. So we had a lot of offers, and we all like, no. We had a lot of interest in Hollywood. We pitched in LA, a lot of interest for money and raising money, but they wanted to change the cast to be white because it was more of a bankable thing. Movie stars that you put on a poster, you recognize, tend to be white. And we wanted to break that vicious cycle, this catch-22, of if we don't have Asian American movie stars, we can't make movies with Asian actors, right? So we wanted to kind of create and tell a story that was authentic to where we were, and to be able to hopefully, again, with you folks here, enjoy the film and spread the word, and then they become movie stars through that process. So we'll get into that a little bit more. But what we eventually did is turn to Kickstarter and raise money privately. One of actually ARIA Seattle members was actually one of our investors, so that's how we kind of got connected to the ARIA association as a whole. And so basically we kind of bootstrapped everything and shot in Seattle and made it our own way, and here we are through a pandemic and all these things. We released our movie in May, and we're on Apple and Apple TV and iTunes and Amazon and Walmart on Blu-ray and Target and Amazon. And we're just trying to get our own way. So I'll just pass the mic to Michael here.
What you guys witnessed was an actual dream, a collective dream being realized. So I really do hope that you guys enjoyed everyone's efforts, because a lot of blood, sweat, and tears put into this, but it is also something that we're all very, very proud of.
Awesome. One more shout out to Drew Pierce, who's our gaffer on the thing. God, who's Pierce? Lit the whole thing. It was amazing. Sorry. Who's? Okay.
Hey guys, I'm Mal Duong, one of the producers, and I was on this project for 8 years, and it took 8 years because I was on the fundraising side of everything, and like Bao mentioned, it took a long time because when we went to these studios, they wanted to change Danny here into a white character, and so we actually had multi-million-dollar deals just to swap him out. And we had to ultimately walk away from these deals, and that's what added the 8 years to this process. And so what these studios didn't know is that, we had a secret weapon was, our other bankable white character that they actually didn't read the script, and they didn't see Sifu Carter here. And so there's just... And so we had everything that they wanted, but they just didn't see it in the right order. And so for us, it took 8 years, and thankfully, we walked away from that money because we came out to a theatrical release in May, and we were as high as number 4 on the iTunes charts. We are currently 98% certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. And we were named the number 10 best Asian American film of all time by Rotten Tomatoes. And so again, if we look back and we took any of this money back then, we wouldn't have reached any of these accolades. We wouldn't have been able to cast, the actors that we wanted. And so thankfully, we found Elaine, we found Matt, and I've been working with Ken, Michael, Sean, and Bao since 2005, 2006, back when we did a short film together, and we've promised to make this feature together, and it just took 15 years to make in total. So super thankful for this crew, and let's talk to the amazing cast.
I owe you money for project, but putting me on it. I got cast on this about 2 years ago. I auditioned for it. It was a script that I read and really quickly fell in love with the heart of the film. And it was great working with everybody here. I want to keep it as short as possible because I know we have a hard out. So, but yes, I was casted in this 2 years ago, and it's been a crazy ride so far. So yeah.
Is there a question, or are we just saying our experience on the film?
Yeah, just
Okay, great. Yes, I talked to Bao and Yuji, one of the executive producers, about a year and a half before they started shooting. I thought the conversation went well. I didn't hear anything for a year and a half, so I assumed that I didn't get the part. And then I got a call while I was in the airport from Bao saying, we start shooting in 6 weeks. We want you to play Carter, and you have to learn Kung Fu. And so I had a background in karate and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but not Kung Fu. So crash course in that, crash course in speaking another language poorly. But I'm so grateful for the opportunity. It's really a blast to be in the film.
Yeah, Sean basically kind of explained it all. I've known Bao and Sean for 20 plus years. I mean, we were just a couple of kids running around with our dad's camcorders trying to copy Jackie Chan movies. And 20 years of kind of developing and sticking close together, and all of this kind of passion rooted in very, very, very solid friendship is kind of what you see on a lot of it is what you see on the screen today, is all that love and all that drive over those years and sticking close, and almost in a way like keeping a promise with each other. So this whole crew here, we all became family on set, and we're just so excited to have shared the vision with you. So that's us.
I'm Amy. I really could relate about bootstrapping because I have a prop tech startup myself, so I know how hard it is. The big question is, first of all of you look so much more energetic and good looking in real life.
So true.
Do you all know Kung Fu, really? Because I think you make the right decision when you talk about, or your title is Kung Fu related.
Yeah, I taught everyone here Kung Fu. No, Kenny was kind of the leader in that.
Yeah, I've been training since I was like 10 or 11 years old. So I was able to bring a lot of that foundation from my early years of training and kind of pour some of that artistic quality into these two gentlemen and the rest of the cast. I mean, everybody has varying martial arts backgrounds or movement backgrounds, so I was able to kind of build on that. But a lot of the movements, a lot of the kind of the salutes and the greetings come from actually my childhood and training with my Sifu. So.
My background, I actually trained as a kid, Taekwondo, and then I quickly moved into dance. So my background is primarily dance, choreography, jazz, contemporary, hip-hop, breakdancing, but that's kind of my discipline, so yeah.
You have the physique for it.
Oh. Thank you.
My background was Okinawan karate, American Kempo, and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and when they said Kung Fu, I was like, it's probably the same. It was not the same. It was very challenging. But Ken and his team did a great job of giving me the shorthand and showing me, enough that I could learn in a short period of time to translate the screen. So very grateful for that.
But you do look like you know Kung Fu. You know
Good.
Yeah.
That's good this guy.
Charles in the back. Yeah, well, we grew up adjacent to each other. I mean, we were from Seattle. We have different kind of areas, almost like Oakland and San Francisco. Ken and Sean were on the west side of Bremerton, and I was on the Seattle side. So yeah, in a lot of ways, we just found each other. If anything, you kind of look back, you see how we almost like you try to set out to do something, and the universe kind of sets the table up for you to find each other, and you're just incredibly thankful around that. I mean, we couldn't have planned it ourselves in that way. Anyone else?
Do several takes before you get it all right, or is it like one continuous scene all the way?
Easy. I gotta kind of refer to you guys. I don't remember what the hour breakdown was per day, but each of those, because it wasn't a lot. We didn't have a lot of time. It was a very ambitious schedule. Each fight, I believe, had its own day, but multiple takes, multiple angles, and a lot of that is, coordinating with Sean and setting up, having that back and forth and that communication and understanding what we needed to capture. So it was a lot of behind the scenes and a lot of planning and understanding like what we needed to capture from the movements and also kind of the emotional content behind the movements. There's so much in play. So to answer your question, there were probably more moving parts than you see on screen, just with the different departments behind the scenes. So many different takes, many different bumps, bruises, and outtakes we probably have on the cutting room floor. So
yeah, if you go on Apple or I think Amazon or just Apple, and also Blu-rays, which we have for sale. We have outtakes and all the deleted scenes, so you can see all the kind of things that didn't make it, and it certainly happens a lot. In general, we kind of did what would you call like kind of a 5-to-1 ratio. Like for what you see on screen, we shot kind of 5 times that amount. Any other questions?
You have to give it up to the actors who are like training all the time on their free time. So when you tell them on like a day where like we have to lose 2 hours, can you do this? And they just make it work. They like cut out 2 hours of rehearsal and they just make it all work.
It's true.
No, logistically it was 5 days. The rooftop we shot from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. Because we couldn't have sunlight. We lost essentially half a day because we had the largest thunderstorm come in. I think it was the largest in 40 years in Seattle. It was about an 8-mile radius of just nothing but lightning and thunder. And the top of the rooftop, we had nothing but metal light poles. And so we had to break down everything. And so it was a logistical nightmare, really. But I mean, thankfully, the action team was able to make everything safe for all the actors. And credit to everyone. We had no money for stunt doubles. So they did all of their action. So that's amazing. Hats off to you guys. As a producer, no. No one got injured, right? No one got injured.
I was just in a car accident like an hour ago.
Nobody cares, man.
No, nobody cares. Nobody cares about the producers.
I'm fine. Not for the movie. We're good. We're good. Yeah.
I mean, aside from soreness, I mean, really, like, and Elaine's bruised ego, like, nothing else, Anyone else?
And yes, I'm okay. He's blind in one eye still, but it's fine. That's fine.
Tell us a little bit about how they got involved, and then also the little boy.
Yeah, so basically they came through casting, which is kind of our throwing the net out for auditions. Ron, who plays Aheng, was very good friends with one of our other producers, Yuji Okamoto. So he came on relatively early on board to play the part of Hing, and then everyone else we kind of needed to kind of like throw the net far and wide to find through auditions process. So Elaine came through that. We saw Mikkel, who plays Jim, and also, like you said, Josiah, who plays Ed. That all kind of came together, honestly, really luckily through our casting director, because, you know, with kid actors, things can go really wrong real fast. So it can go, you know, real south. So it's really important that we had that kind of like great performer on down, because as good as the adult actors are, they're only as good as the kid actors that they're playing against. So we're really lucky and fortunate to be able to find Josiah. Was an incredible talent, just really young and hardworking, and just really attentive and sensitive to the part that he was playing. So we were really happy to work with him. Was there a scene that was amazing? I think the B-roll. Was there a scene? No, man. I gotta tell you, every day was a slog. Like it really was, because maybe in my own stories, it's just every day was a slog. Yeah, there was a rainstorm. There's something new happening. Airplanes are coming through. You know, you have to do fire trucks are dealing, trains are coming. It's planes, train. Like we had to deal with so many things. Again, if you see the deleted scenes, you'll see all the bloopers and the things that we had to deal with, and it was just insane. Like an indie movie is no joke. Like it's one thing to shoot on a studio film where they can afford or pave over like issues that happen, but in indie film, your margins are so tight, your days are so tight, because everyone has to go home at a certain calendar date, and you have to finish the movie. So that you know, every day was really just like a day that was like we could just clock off, you know, X off the calendar and just consider it done. Like I don't know if it's great, but at least the day is done. That was the general way of just surviving through the shoot.
Yeah, I mean, really quick story before Michael starts. During the urinal scene where Ken does the poison fingers, so that was actually 3 o'clock in the morning. And so outside, what was actually happening was that there were a couple meth heads trying to break into our trucks, and they actually started stealing stuff. And so, but here's the thing: we're a film set full of kung fu people, and so immediately half the crew actually like started chasing people, and so like, and it was like kind of like a 30-minute ordeal, but like it was just like, you know, adrenaline, you know, kicking in at 3 in the morning, and then like, so for the rest of the night, we were just like standing guard, like we're just like, oh, any more meth heads around here? And so, but you know, that's just like every day on a film set. Sometimes, you know, like it's not just what's happening in front of the camera, behind the scenes. You know, we're dealing with locations, money, meth heads, and you know, and so so that's the adventure of, you know, making a movie.
On set, there was a literal dumpster fire. Might have not been a dumpster fire. There was just a fire on set, and our crew handled it because we have the best crew in the world. The time where we all banded together was when there was that lightning storm. That was the calmest I've been in the whole production, because I knew we had the best crew, the best fight coordinators, the best cast. And they had been training all day, so we have to cut down like a 5-minute fight scene to a 2-minute fight scene, and they just knew how to do it. It was amazing. So I love these guys.
So we'll do one more question. So who wants to be our?
Thank you.
Well, we'll take questions outside if you have.